So for example, Gmail, you can connect Gmail in here. You can connect, what other tools was mentioned earlier? You can click Google Drive. You can connect ClickUp. You can connect Go High Level. This is new, by the way. The Go High Level connector is new. So, oops, where is that? Well, anyways, if you don't if and again if it's not here, you can just give the API keys and then it will what's the word I'm looking for? It will connect it for you. Of course, don't copy the AI keys in the chat. Put it in a local file so that you won't get a data breach. But that's the way. Okay. Next, now we need to manage context. So one of the first agents that I've made is uh, a full-blown marketing agent. So it creates sales funnels, it creates ads, it creates email campaigns, it creates SMS. Does that sound good? Type in the chat. Does that sound good? Is that amazing? An agent that builds your website, does marketing and designs the websites for you, follows up on people. Type in the chat. Is that amazing or no? Yeah. Thanks, Philip. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It sucked. Why? Because of context. It had so much knowledge. It had so much to learn. For example, I actually showed you guys this a bit earlier, but I gave it so much context and frameworks that the capacity is actually above the threshold. That means that it was not able to get everything. And if I were to use this, like you see, here it is. So you've used, no, that's not it. If I were to use this, like make a funnel, make what is the best funnel for brick and mortar sari-sari store, high-end sari-sari stores in the Philippines. May high-end ba na sari-sari store? Okay. So it will actually use up a lot more context much more quickly. So that means that if I were to use this, I only have half the time and resources before this AI is gonna get stupid. Okay. Meaning if a worker is working 8 hours a day, this assistant is only capable of working 4 hours. Okay, 4 or 5 hours. Okay? So useless pa rin siya. It's actually not a very good AI. Di ba? So I still have to fight with it. That means the output that it's creating sucks. And the reason why is context. Okay? So context is the longer the conversation, the more Claude carries in memory. In fact, kayo, how many of you can remember what you ate 3 days ago during breakfast? 3 days ago, 1 week ago, 3 weeks ago, 16 weeks ago. Maalala nyo ba? Okay? So, type yes if maalala nyo. Diba? So, and it's the same for us. There's too much context. Okay? So, it piles up. So, here's our, or here are ways for you to actually manage all of that. Okay, so there are a couple of commands that you can use. And buti na lang ngayon that Claude actually made it a lot more simpler. /context. I don't want to use any of these tools. Okay. So Claude made it a lot more simpler now. Kasi now you can just go in here and you would see the entire context window that you would have. Meaning, if this reaches here, this whole chat is gonna compact and you are gonna lose information. Okay? So it's like telling your life story and then yung maalala lang ng friend mo is yung relevant sa kanya. Okay? So if it reaches here, Claude is gonna summarize the entire thing and it would forget what was the past instructions that you gave, ano ba yung mga framework na ginamit and all of that stuff. Okay? So it will forget. So, and then the next tool is, but then you still want to work with the same chat. For example, sobrang haba na ng conversation. Let's see. All right, so here's an example, right? I want to summarize this conversation. Okay, so I just go in here and compact everything. So it's gonna summarize the conversation as much as it can, but it will forget some stuff. And if you want to save more on context, you can also just clear everything, and it's going to start from scratch. Okay, so that's how you manage context in here. Okay, and of course, there's a Claude MD file, and the Claude MD file also knows who you are, what tools you use, how you like things done, and what to never do again. Now, I suggest you guys don't even touch this. Like if you install Claude locally, I don't even suggest you guys touch this because there was a time actually na I tried to circumvent a bit of the context. For example, I don't want it compacting around 200,000 tokens in. I didn't want I didn't want it compacting in the conversation. So I made sure na hindi that compact is turned off and I forgot. And when I needed it finally, I couldn't compact anymore. Okay. So yeah, so I suggest just let Claude learn from you. Okay. So you don't need to build all of this at once. So if you're and what that's one thing that I really like about AI is the longer that you use AI, the more that it gets to know you and the smarter it gets. Okay. But you also have to remember that you're also dealing with someone who has amnesia every day. So it can remember, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will do the job right. So you still have to train the model. Okay, so hold on. I'm trying to show you guys where the memory is. Extension developer. Okay, so me personally, I actually turned off memory for Claude because I find that Claude is better for recurring tasks and it works better if it doesn't have memory. Okay, pero that's my personal preference. There are people who prefer Claude to learn from them. So I did not. So the keeping the memory is okay. Okay, now we've talked about this earlier a bit, right? What's an MCP? Okay, this is like a phone book. Okay, so for example, it's an agent. An AI is only an agent if it can actually do something. 'Di ba? So if it can't do if all it does is reply to you while you're chatting, it's not really a very smart AI. It's just a chatbot. Okay. But if you connect an MCP to Claude, and there's pros and cons with this, but it becomes a real agent. Okay, what does that mean? For example, with Go High Level, okay, I use Claude to send out mass emails and SMS. If you guys have noticed Alice sending you guys messages, it's because of Claude. Okay, so I connected Claude Code to Go High Level, which is the tool that I use for a lot of my funnels and CRM and outreach. Okay. I use Claude to manage my calendar. So if I tell Claude, hey, Claude, can you schedule an appointment and invite um, my partners for Project Gateway, then it's going to do that. It's going to do that with using the Google Calendar MCP. It's connected to my database. One of the things that I did with Slack, with Claude Code and Slack, I had a client that is cray-cray. She was making all of the excuses that she wants just to not pay us. Okay. And well, we needed evidence that things were not in her, things were being worked on and what really happened. So I had Claude go in and export all of the conversations that happened in the last 3 months, including the channels where all of the work was happening, all of the chokeholds, all of the events, chain of events, and I was able to create a design thinking document that proved that the chain of events were, were beyond our control, etc. Okay, that's not something you could have done um, a year ago. Why? Because the same issue happened. Sorry, the same issue happened last year, more internally this time, of an employee acting up, making stuff up, and using Slack for what's the word I'm looking for? Using a client's Slack account, and it's not even ours, right? They're using a client's Slack account to to uh, to make fun of the founders, to make fun of the clients. Okay, so and we couldn't even prove that because we didn't have access, and it took so much time to investigate. Okay, now we can just use Claude to export that data. Okay, using if we connect it to Slack. Okay, and then and how do you guys connect MCPs? Okay, again, all you need to do is just go into settings, go to connectors, and add. Or you can just ask Cloud Code, hey, make an MCP for me. Okay, so that's something that I do regularly. So, for example, N8N is one of my favorite backend tools because N8N can make MCPs with Cloud Code can make N8N MCPs just by prompting. Okay, so you can just say whatever your process is over here, you can actually have Claude turn that into an MCP or turn that into a workflow that connects to all of these different apps at the stages that you need it to. Okay? So yun. And now skills. This is my favorite part of Cloud Code, okay, or Cloud in general. Okay, one of the reasons why is that skills, okay, for example, how many of you have found it troublesome that you had to prepare this? You had to make the preparation, you had to make the outcome, and you need to make the framework. And not all of that, let's say you're working on a huge project, not all of that will even fit. Okay? Not all of that will even fit the context of a cloud project. Okay? Skills even are pretty cool because let's see here, for example, hey, I need this or maybe this. Okay, so this was the prompt that we made earlier for a social media post. Okay, and a lot of these there and then you have so many frameworks that you can use to create a social media post. Okay, so for me, all I have to do is this. Okay, I'm gonna do a slash command and say use a magnetic story, use um, this skill, use this skill, use this skill, and then run multi-agents. Okay. So now what it's doing is that it's this whole chat is calling in an agent that's an expert in magnetic marketing, an agent that's an expert in making hooks, an agent that's an expert in making a launch plan, and an agent that's an expert in creating a what's the word I'm looking video sales letter. Okay, so I didn't even have to prompt anymore or prompt a lot anymore. Okay, I just turned all of that into a skill. Okay, and how do you do that? Let's say with the operations manual, you can actually just tell Claude, hey, turn this project into a skill. Or ask Claude, can you help me make a skill? Okay. So it's just turning your frameworks into what's the word I'm looking for? Turning your frameworks into something that you can just call almost immediately. So the agent AI now knows, okay, how to do this, how to do this, how to do this, and this is how I want it to do. Okay, is it? Are you guys following me so far? How are you guys doing? How many of you are overwhelmed? Type overwhelmed in the chat box if you're overwhelmed. How many of you are following? Just say following. Nice. Thank you, Ace. Thank you, Philip. What about the rest? Ethelbert overwhelmed. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. No worries, guys. One thing that I always say here is practice. Okay. The more you do this, the more agents you make, the easier it becomes. Okay. And then sub agents. All right. Now, notice that if I were to actually just tell the AI to you, notice that I said this, run multi-agents. Why can't AI just do this? Okay. Because the context window is small. It's just a million. And each of these will probably burn through the context window very quickly. Okay. So by doing multi-agents, this turns your agent into a team of agents. So now agents are reporting to another agent. Okay, so it's AI reporting to an AI. 'Di ba? So which makes the whole work a lot better. So and just like how why you're hiring so many people. Yeah, yeah. So this is why when you're hiring um other people, you this is why you're hiring other people. I mean, it's because your context per day, your capacity per day is only 24 hours. You want to multiply that by hiring other people. Okay. And it's doing the same thing with AI. Okay. With other AIs. So by creating sub agents, okay, it's able to multiply its context by like what, a million per agent, more or less, depending on the model that they're using. Okay. And it sends them on a mission and it comes back with an answer. And you have one main agent getting the consolidating the results from everybody. Okay. So yeah. So for example, here's an example for me, right? What was built by Claude Code. I actually created and I actually moved from Lovable, Riplet, Cursor, all of these vibe coding tools, and I just stayed and used Claude Code. So one thing that Claude Code built for me, and this is very important for people who work with me in my higher level programs, they need these tools, right? Because I want them to, they don't have the same context as me. So I need to train them first by creating, by having them do things semi-manually. Okay, so for example, I created this tool. This is a business model canvas. Okay, literally, um, the department DTI is looking for trainers to basically train people how to create a business model canvas, right? Pero what I did was I literally made this and I made this free for my cohort. And then what happens here is that they're gonna do this manually, but they can actually export this and they can actually feed this to AI, and it becomes a knowledge base for AI to use. Okay. So if they're running campaigns, they can actually use the business model canvas as a tool to help guide AI to make a better offer. Same with the customer avatar. Okay. Same with the customer value journey. If you guys read Alex Hermosi, I used AI to create um uh 100 million offers. Okay. I even have a swipe library. AI made all of these swipe libraries of working ads. Okay. That I can just use to train AI. For example, I have another event, I'll just use this okay, hey, AI, use this. I'll just copy the code and then have AI build a similar creative based on my knowledge base. Okay, so it's really cool. Now you can just use AI to do all of that stuff. Okay, so here are some examples as well. So this is from Freeman. I wonder if this is just if you guys are wondering if you guys can do this yourselves too. Um, I'm gonna share some. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Freeman. I'm an international speaker, best-selling author, and also founder of Travel to Transform. And I can't highly recommend Chris enough because this guy saved me. Last year, we met at the Vietnam Nomad Fest, and I was scrambled with all the back end and different platform and system. And it has been really a big hurdle on how I can show up on stage, how I can actually build the momentum to have more students in my community. When I met Chris, he literally dissect all the problems and map it out so clearly for me. And he helped me to migrate from different Squarespace, Kajabi, and a couple of different platforms into Go High Level. And now everything is all in one place. And I just had an amazing launch before I speak again in Vietnam this year. And it was an incredible launch because all the email automations and firing up, I can really now communicate from one to many at the same time so that I can stay in touch with people. Because sometimes in events when I speak, I have like hundreds of people want to talk to me one-to-one afterwards. And while I enjoy doing that, I just can't have all my time 24/7 replying people. But now with this automation set up, which is one thing I really love about Chris, is he preserved my authenticity as well. He helped me to really craft this whole communication process with my audience, with my prospects, in a way that speaks in my tone. So he's the genius, he's the AI expert, and I can't recommend him enough. And I'm going to work on multiple more marketing projects with him too. And I hope he's going to do the same magic with you for all the non-tech founders as well.
What's funny
Good.
about Freeman is that
Okay.
what's funny about Freeman is that this guy mentioned Go High Level. And we actually today, after this call, I'm actually gonna move all of his funnels outside of Go High Level, right? Because the problem is that while we were able to get all of his my patient, okay lang na baka marinig ka. No problem, no problem. Okay. One of the things that we're doing with Freeman is that we're moving away from Go High Level because while a lot of it is already cool enough, but it's still not something that he can manage if he were to create a whole new offer. Now with Claude Code, he is actually publishing blogs, publishing websites by himself. Sending out email blasts by himself, no tech team, right? Which is pretty cool. Now, here's another thing. This is from my friend Royce. I hope you guys can hear the audio as
So,
well.
hi everyone,
Whoops,
I'm also
that's
one
good.
of the graduates of this was previously called the Business Launch Challenge. Now, right now, it's just Bootstrap MBA, but imagine that this is bigger, it has more content, it's much improved because we managed to, again, Chris is always iterating and improving, just like what you always do in tech. And with my run, even with this one, like, even in the previous version of this program already, this is where I'm coming from. First off, just a jam already. I already had a lot of experience back then. My background is I love to run programs. I love to also talk in front, not on the camera like jam, but I always talked in front of people. I was always teaching classes. I think almost 3 or 4 years already
I
doing
actually
sessions
sped
already.
up
But my
the
challenge was always that, and if anyone
I
can relate
sped
to
up
this,
the
like you're very
speed
good at what
because
you do,
six
right? You
minutes
know
pala to.
you know your content, you know what to teach, you know how to coach, you know how you have the skills already on talking to people. But the business side is a different ball game altogether, and that's what I always had problems with. They're also talking about like how do you promote to other people, how do you reach other people, right? Because you're very good, but if no one knows you, it's gonna be crickets for you, right? And the business launch challenge was one of the biggest things that helped me change that because from what happened beforehand was that again, I was always trying, okay, let me run a new session, let me just improve. And that was my mindset before, right? Let me just improve and get better at this. Another certification, another training, another course that I would get, right? And I kept adding to my repertoire, but it never changed the business side because just you can improve and improve on your product or service, pero like the business side is a different, yeah, it's a different function altogether. And so what actually changed was when I was able to launch, I was able to finally have my own platform. I finally was able to learn how to reach people. I was able to finally get to connect to people and communicate to them like, hey, this is actually what I'm helping you with. Because ako before, I used to think, oh, as long as I'm good, I'm competent, people will come and people will get to know me. And it's very idealistic, but I ran into that. I ran into that struggle again and again. Na parang, okay, I'm very good, but where are the people I can help? Diba? So when I finally learned from Chris, how are you going to be able to position and offer these to people in a way that will actually help them? That's when I actually found that people really readily signed up and people were really very happy to show up for me. So again, numbers are relative for people, but I will just give you concretely for me. Before, I was only getting maybe low, like 10,000, 20,000, 10, 15,000, 20,000 only very few times. But the first time I launched this, I got actually, I don't know, pay for my first month already. So I'm very happy with that. So thank you, Chris. I'm very happy. And continually, right? So this is now I already have a platform. I can continually just focus on, and this is my biggest hope for you guys as well. Focus on what you're good. It allows you to focus on what you're good at and let AI do the other heavy lifting for you. So again, if you're talking about skills, if you're talking about other things that you need to manage the business, put more energy into your circle of competence, right? So you don't have to handle everything because I don't believe like it might be very few or it might be only some people who have that, who really have all of that energy to put everything that they do on every aspect of the business, whether you're good at it or not. I know that's not for everyone. I'm not one of those people. Instead, now what am I able to do? I'm able to focus on my service. I'm able to focus on what I'm good at. I'm able to focus on what really energizes me and lights me up. And then I let AI and technology do the rest so that you can still have a cohesive business for you to run and promote whatever you want to do to serve your clients and to serve the world.
All right. So that's just one thing with Royce, right? So again, Royce does not have a tech background. So if you guys are wondering if this is also possible for you, possible nga with Royce. And one thing I'm very proud of with Royce is that he's also doing launches one after another. He's doing his second batch as well. I I should have invited them here because during this talk nagbigay sila ng freebie. So if you guys want freebies from him as well, type freebie. For health naman to. And I'll send it over to you guys. Okay? And then this is Jam. She's our cohort valedictorian.
Yeah. Okay. So I joined the
All
business
right,
launch
thank you.
challenge after I quit my job, my 9 to 5 job. Actually, I was working as a content marketing strategist for an international company in Bangkok, Thailand, and I still am in Bangkok, Thailand. And while I was working my 9 to 5, I was also building my YouTube channel because I have a deep passion for content, and it's why I also did it as my 9 to 5, right? But then as I was building that, my YouTube, my TikTok, Facebook accounts, I started earning money. I started earning sponsorships, and I got enough money to the point that I was able to quit my job. And I realized, oh, this is so cool. And I had other friends as well who were asking me, "Jam, how do you make YouTube content? How do you make videos like these? How do you make content that grabs people's attention, that builds a loyal following?" And I'm telling you, I didn't get this done overnight. I built this for 3.5 years. And then I started teaching those people for free. I just made a Facebook group chat. I taught those people. And I thought, oh, that was so cool to see their results as well. And then when I met Chris, we actually went to Da Nang, Vietnam, and I met him, and then he told me that, oh, he was building this thing where he teaches people how to turn their skills, what they have, their services, their products into a proper business. And for me, who loved content, who loved talking to a camera, as you can tell, I love talking. And I was already able to help people. I thought, why not actually turn this into a proper business? I already had the skills, I already had students who had results for free, and I personally had my own results. Why don't I turn that into a proper business? So I had the skills, I had the platform, and the confidence to do that, but I did not have the business know-how. That was my problem. I didn't know I needed a proper, how do you say this, like ICP for a business. I didn't know na may ano pala. I knew that there was content marketing, ads, and all that, but the back end, right? There were all these just different things, and AI especially has helped me. And so after I went through 30 days, oh my god, it wasn't easy. Oh my god, Chris, parang, I think what really helped as well with the first batch, because I was part of the first cohort now, because I kept having breakdowns. I was like, oh no, I can't do this. I'll just be a full-time influencer. I don't want to be a business owner. Like, I just want to be pretty and talk to a camera. And then I joined the business launch challenge, and there were people there. Royce will be talking next, but Royce was actually one of my accountability buddies. There was Bailan and of course Alaska as well, just telling me, Jam, you got this. And I needed that. I needed people who were in the same boat as me to tell me that you've got this. You already did the work, the 3.5 years of building the channel, learning how to talk, edit, design, everything. And you just need to have the confidence to be able to actually tell people that, yeah, you're going to charge for this because you deserved to charge for the skills that you've built, for the platform, for the skills that will take years to learn, and you're helping people fast track, charge for that. And so, aside from learning the skills, of course, the technical skills, I'm telling you, it wasn't easy. It was a lot. Oh my God, my little brain cannot. But then I learned, and plus I had, for me, what really mattered was the community and the people who will cheer for you, who will keep you grounded and say, kaya mo yan, you can do it. And after 30 days, I actually built my own community of content creators. Some of them are here. My first batch of students actually already graduated. They had their own YouTube channels. They've started being able to document their lives. I've had students who are in their 20s, some in their 30s. I also have students who are in their 50s, like retired people who are bored and they have nothing to do. Now let's start YouTube. So people who are from different backgrounds, but who have very beautiful stories to tell, lessons, wisdom that I believe should be shared to the people around them. And so to be able to share that knowledge, to turn that into a proper business that fulfills me and actually helps people, and I know will have that ripple effect to help other people, because I know the students that I've taught actually also have their own skills to teach. Of course, just through the video platform, through content creation. And I'm so excited to continue building this and to see future students then of Business Launch Challenge. So yeah, it's a new community, but it's growing and it's there. And I couldn't be more thankful to Chris and also to my classmates from Business Launch Challenge, which he has renamed to Bootstrap MBA. So yeah, that's my story. And thank you so much, Chris, and to the entire team for helping me build my own business and my own community.
Boom. How many of you were inspired by that, right? Like me in the chat box. Okay. And I see a lot of freebies in here. So okay, sure. I'll message them and I'll send and I'll have them send you guys the freebies as well. Okay. So Jam has a YouTube creator kit, and then Royce has another for his help. Okay. Nice, Albert. Thank you. All right. Now, before we go on to the closing, let's go through what's the word I'm looking for? Just one more event. Like, how many of you would like to prove that you can do this too? Okay, type me in the chat box that you can do this too. Okay, yeah, nice, Philip. I love that alert ka. Okay, so here's what I want you guys to do. Just go into Claude. Okay, you can use the new or you can use Claude Code. Just ask this guy. All right, I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes to do this. Okay, so here's the prompt. I want to build a skill. Okay, and the skill that you're gonna be building is this. Whatever you wrote down earlier. Yeah, AI Army for sure. Kaya. Okay, I want to build a skill based on my most annoying activity. Okay, based on X. Based on what sorry. I'm about to tell you. Sorry for the ones na may ADHD nag-caps lock bigla. So I'll send you the prompt in the chat. Interview me. Okay? I'll send it in the chat. Okay? Oops, bakit sa waiting room to? Everyone in the meeting. Okay? Send this to Claude. Have Claude interview you on the framework. Okay? I think the skills should be available sa free plan. Okay? Or if you have ChatGPT, you can also try and use that kay ChatGPT. Because I think skills is also a thing that ChatGPT has. Okay? So I want to build a skill based on what I'm about to tell you. Interview me. Okay? So and then just answer Claude honestly. Ano ba yung what is this skill about? Okay? This skill is about writing sales copy. So to prepare, I would need to have the offer. I would need to have the brand kit. I would need to have the terrain. I would need to have the ICP. I would need to have the guidelines. I would need to have the weather. I would need to have the equipment and tools. Okay? So, see? So what skill, if you guys notice my Claude sounds like a caveman, it's actually another skill. So I actually use a skill called caveman. Turn it off. So like kick us off. What skill do? One sentence, the job it does. When it fire, what the type say. So I use caveman so that I can save on context window. This is not my personal skill. It's actually a repo. In the Bootstrap MBA, I'll show you guys some of the most amazing repos out there. But yeah, look at the difference. What should the skill do? The job in one sentence. What triggers it? So ito yung these are the difference if you have caveman on. Okay? So ako personally, I prefer caveman. Okay? So based on the questions, answer Claude. Okay? I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes to do this. Okay? So 10 minutes to do this. Your time starts, where is that? Your time starts now. This is my prompt engineer, Halibut, and give me all the questions. And this is how I use Halibut to basically prompt engineer my things. Okay, so all of these agents that I have is actually Halibut is my foundation. This thing has made me $120,000 last year. Okay, so it's a very cool skill. And my hope for you guys is that you will experience what it's like to be an AI-driven founder. Yung parang nasa beach kayo, naliligo, kailangan nyo umalis para i-approve si AI tapos balik sa dagat. You know? Or while you're surfing, you need to tell AI na turn on you're confident enough to turn on bypass mode. Okay? So for example, like one of my favorite activities to do is when I go to the gym. I finally have time for the gym, guys. When I go to the gym, AI, if you notice this thing is remote control. Okay, I can actually control Claude from my phone, and I would be able to prompt while I'm doing a workout. You know, so that's or in between workouts as well. You know, when you're cooling down, diba? So you have 10 minutes. Well, you have 7 minutes left. Yeah, so it's asking me, okay, what's the core job? This is the difference between native AI skill building and versus a prompt engineer, right? So what is the core job? What should skill make Claude do? Caveman. Uh, one specific action, not help with content, more like turn a raw transcript into 5 email nurture sequence. Audience, who consumes the output? You, clients, which avatar? Tone, voice the output should carry, describe like describing a person. Must include, what should skill always emphasize, pull in or check? Non-negotiables. Yes, Halibut is something that I developed myself. I only share Halibut to the VIP members of my community. So if you're gonna be part of the community, then Halibut is gonna be part of your AI, as well as the 119 agents that I have. Okay. Sorry, hindi pala 119, mga 80 lang. Okay? These agents are not paid. Okay? You're only paying for Claude. Okay? Halibut is a skill inside Claude. So libre siya. But I am paying for Claude Max, which is like 13,000 per month. Okay? On top of Hermes, on top of ChatGPT. So mga what? 15,000, 16,000. Okay? Alice is gonna be around what's the word I'm looking for? If you want your own AI assistant or AI receptionist, Alice is also another option that you guys can get. And that's also something that I will be teaching in Manila. So if you guys are in Manila, see you guys there, August 6 and 7, if you guys want to sign up. Yun, may bayad na yun kasi it's a physical event. No, it's okay to ask kasi, people are also doing their thing. Okay? Let's see. Can we save more if we only use Claude instead of all the tools we have? The context is going to be very different. Okay, so before this, my tool stack would be around 30,000 pesos per month. So all of the tools that I use would be around 30,000. That includes Canva, that includes Gamma, that includes Google Workspace. So it really depends on your context, right? Pero I was able to drop all of that to around half because of Claude. Okay, and then there are a couple of tools that I actually taught like 2 months ago that I don't recommend anymore. For example, if you want to make automated social media tools, you actually don't need to pay Canva anymore. Okay, because you can actually create the social media post inside Claude. So for example, I'm gonna show you guys some examples here. Bring one process you hate. Is this it? No, not this. How to know if you're a real expert. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. So these ads were actually made by Claude. You know, the ads that you actually saw uh on Facebook when I ran it is actually all made by Claude. Okay. So that's one. With enough people in Cebu, I will go to Cebu. I actually have a talk there, I think around October. So I will organize another event there as well. I will be speaking with one of my favorite AI speakers as well, Leanne Nakaba. So shout out to Leanne as well. If you guys want to learn more AI stuff, ChatGPT and Claude related, Leanne is a very good resource. She's also an international speaker as well. Okay, so from Ace, I may be asking you to deviate, but can you explain what Hermes and Alice and how you can connect it to GPT if you paid and why you are using it on top of GPT? Yes. Okay. So the reason why I'm using Hermes is because Claude is a very ethical company. Okay, that means there are some workflows that I'm doing that hindi magawa ni Claude because of data privacy, because of copyright, because of what. I'm not saying I'm dabbling into illegal stuff, but what I am saying is that there are a lot of researches. One of the things that I do is what you call an audit. So I audit businesses to see where leaks are in their business, right? And for example, I found out that a local business here in Davao is actually losing 3.5 million every week because they don't have conversation AI installed. Okay, and it's real data backed up by facts. We did a workshop with them. So hindi siya gawa-gawa lang na data. It's like how many of you would like to know that you're actually missing out 3.5 million a week in opportunities? Diba? Type me in the chat box if that's you. Okay, so Claude sometimes will not break. So for example, I can show you an example with Fable 5, pero one of the things that it won't do is it's not going to um what's the word I'm looking for? It's not going to clone, or it's not going to try and break something. Okay? I need to break something. So sometimes I would use Hermes to do that because Hermes is uncensored. Okay, depending on the model that you use, Hermes is uncensored. Pero at the same time, Hermes can also be pretty dumb because the uncensored models are not as smart as Claude, diba? But I can't. Before you can actually connect Claude with Hermes, but now I don't want to pay for tokens. So what I do is I connect ChatGPT with Hermes so that it can do agentic things. So for example, applying for me, okay, sending messages for me, filling out forms for me. Okay, so replying emails. If you guys confirmed via email, Hermes was the one who replied because I never check my emails. Okay, so that's why I use Hermes. Okay, pero it's all complementary. It's not a one-off thing. Okay, and again, if you're not a power user, you don't need all of these tools. You just need one. So yun lang. I hope that answers. The one in Manila is 1.5. Okay. 1,500 for a 4-day workshop. When you say third-party content, what do you mean by third-party content? I'm gonna assume like brands. Uh, that's just one afternoon. The 1-5 is just one afternoon. So it's gonna be in Mandaluyong. I'll send you guys on this the link as well. Actually, you know what? Maybe I can just send it now. Bonuses slash AI multiplier ba? I hope multiplier. Haha. Nope, I can't find the link. Okay. Anyways, I'll send it to you guys there. Okay. But anyways, before we go to the activity, so third party, let's see. When creating AI-assisted products, photo shoots for retail, how do you handle products that contain third-party intellectual properties such as Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, or Pokemon? So a bunch of it really depends. So for stuff like this, like real IP and copyright na AI, I'm first things first is I'm gonna make sure that I am hired by these companies to create their marketing assets. Okay, so I need to make sure that I do this with consent. Next, if I were to then create photo shoots and create all of these different programs, I would actually use uncensored AI. Okay, so there's a bunch, pero again, the caveat there, we have a data security person here. The caveat there is that you need to make sure that you have consent whenever you're using this, because if it gets traced back to you, you could be sued, right? So yun lang. If I'm a freelancer, then it proves. Actually, if you use Claude right now, that's one of the guardrails. You have to prove that you are someone who works for these brands and clients. Okay? So, yan yung ano, that's something that you need to deal with. But I would go for uncensored. Okay? Uncensored AI. Nice. Thank you. I hope to see you there, Saizal. Okay. All right. Now, with the activity, okay, the skills activity, okay, put in the chat, were you able to finish? Type finish if you were able to finish, not finish if you were not able to finish, and if anyone is willing to share what happened. Nice. Are you willing to share, Sarah, about your experience?
Hi,
Nice. Okay,
sir.
naka-unmute.
Sir,
Go ahead.
I don't know if I do it right, no. So
Okay lang.
because I'm
Yeah.
a financial advisor and then also a business owner, so I actually nalimit na yung sa Claude ko. So I do it on my ChatGPT Plus. So it it appears po on my ano po, actually maganda yung wait lang po, I just have to run through. Wait lang.
Sure.
Ayun,
Go ahead.
nilagay niya dito kasi I put the prompt, "I want to build a skill based on what I'm about to tell you, interview me and everything you know about me," yung nilagay ko. So, ang sabi niya dito, "You have over 10 years of experience across running Myanmar packaging supplies, being a financial advisor, building AI tools," because I'm also building digital tools din po na as financial advisor, mga financial calculators that I do it for myself. So sales, customer service, helping entrepreneurs and Filipino families. So here, it appears yung phase one. Who are you? Question number one, forget your job. Who is Sarah? Tell me your story. So actually, it runs through yung ginawan din niya ako ng ano Sarah GPT, the entrepreneur and financial advisor AI. So meron
Okay.
din siyang ginawa sa akin na mga values, expertise in your business consulting, food packaging industry, AI technology, communication. So basically dahil kasi po dun sa ChatGPT na na subscription ko, lahat kasi doon ako gumagawa anything no with my business and also in my financial industry. So lahat alam na niya kasi. So sa Claude kasi this is new to me and I was also exploring now no. So basically lahat po kasi ng information narito na siya kay ChatGPT. So nakita ko yung maganda yung po yung even uh, short prompt lang yung inilagay ko dito. Pero nakita ko yung meron na akong parang system na ginawa ng GPT Core, ano yung mga sa sales, customer service, inventory, HR, marketing, everything financial hub. So, ano siya, parang maganda siguro kung mailalagay ko talaga to doon kay Claude din. Kasi hindi pa nga siya masyadong, kumbaga, alam niya yung information ko. Parang kinukuha lang ni Claude yung based on dun sa siguro sa browser na kunyari sa page ng ng business ko, ng packaging supplies. Pero kung lahat ng information na ilalagay ko dun kay Claude, maybe mas makakapag-create pa siya ng similar kay ChatGPT na ma-address niya yung katulad po ng ginagawa niyo or para tinuturo niyo po sa amin na meron ka ng particular na agent on your own, parang GPT, ganun. Yun po, thank you po.
I think that's amazing. Let's give her a round of applause. Yeah. So notice, diba, the things that I'm teaching you guys is actually tool agnostic. Okay, it's while Claude is amazing, you can actually use this with different tools. Now, I will say a certain caveat. Okay, it's better to control the information than to rely on the tool to remember the information. Okay, so I'll give you a scenario. Me personally, one of the reasons why I turned off memory sa mga agents ko is because I work with multiple businesses. That means na the agent or Claude or the AI will get confused on which is which. Okay? But how do I make sure that the tool always has the right context and the right information? Okay? It's by creating that AI brain na pinakita ko sa inyo. Okay, so that way, and you will have to do this if you are to expand. So how many of you guys here would like to grow your business? Okay, growing your business could be multiple things. You could start a brand new branch. You could increase your clientele. You could grow your team. Okay, so that requires context na kailangan yung i-manage. So which is amazing. One more thing lang, Sarah, like in creating those skills, what did you learn?
Actually, I learned po na parang i-categorize yung, di ba po, yung pronunciation niya kasi may GPT, yeah, Sarah GPT brain, para it-identify ano yung mga, parang pain points and at the same time yung mga skills na I can improve more. And yun nga, meron kasi siyang lumabas na mga knowledge vault, learning engine, from library that you can also do your sales, marketing, finance, business, AI, HR, customer, content creation, productivity. So, meron din siya leadership. Actually, nag-create din siya ng module. Nag-create siya sa akin ng 10 modules, actually. Specifically, i-ano ko lang po yung first module.
Sure.
First module is Sarah G. Module 2 is Menmar GPT, which is on my business side. So third is Financial Hub GPT on the financial industry. Business Coach GPT, more of business planning, hiring, marketing, sales strategy. Module 5 is Content Creation GPT, which is yung sa mga Facebook page, yung mga LinkedIn, TikTok script. Module 6 is AI Builder GPT, yun naman yung AI apps. That yung mga CRM. I'm actually building ano po kasi para yung nga financial calculators and also yung sa aking funnel ngayon. I was actually doing my funnel on my Myanmar packaging supply, so that I'm applying right now when I was hearing yung ginagawa niyo po. So the module 7 is leadership, module 8 library is more business, module 9 knowledge vault, module 10 yon learning engine. So basically all of this po para it really has some specific po on what you should do para meron kang system na, okay, you don't need to do it all, but at least you have the parang outline of what you need to improve on your skills and ano po, one at a time. Parang nagagawa ko naman yung iba, but then I don't know in which part yun. Parang ito, nakakategorize siya in which module ka na andun ka. Or ito yung module na nagagawa mo na pala yung skills na to. Then you improve on that. And then siguro maybe before ako mag-jump into another module, ganyan. Ito muna, unahin ko, yung I need to set priority muna on that particular skill. So I can improve on the other module na. Yun po.
Amazing. All right, let's give her a round of applause again. What about the rest? Who else has finished and can share? Sherwin, if you can share yours. And for those of you who did not finish, type in the chat, not finished. I only see Philip here, which I appreciate. Go ahead, Sherwin. I saw you on mute.
Yeah, hi Chris. Hi everyone. Well, for the skill, like I mentioned earlier, I created one for my trading, which my pain point was the research part. So I gave it like my process with regards to my research pipeline. Where do I usually source it? And I actually ask it if it can also source it from other sources that are also free. So and I guess I learned it. You have to, I guess, when you're creating a skill, it's more of like putting in like a instruction of what the agent would do, as well as it should have should really, I guess, put in your own persona as well as include as much detail as possible so that it limits what data it would. Because I think since it's AI, if you don't limit it, if you have garbage in, then you also have garbage out.
Garbage
So
out.
yeah, and I guess yeah, and I'm pretty satisfied with what I've got with regards to the skill that I created. It's basically a research. Then I actually extended it actually to become a quant analyzer as well based on the research that it does, and it does the quant-like analysis on it. So basically, it's like a one-stop shop of doing the analysis for me, and I'll just see if if what it gives me is what I'm also thinking, then I'll go with the dream. So that's basically it.
Amazing. Let's give Sherwin a round of applause. What did you learn from making all of that, man?
Well, from this activity, um, it's more of AI has a lot of let's just say power. I mean, it gives you a lot of
Mm,
degree of freedom to do what everything you want. However, like I said, you have to do some guardrails or control because you don't want garbage becoming into your system, right? So and also, they also have to be in in other circumstances, like I mentioned, you have to use it responsibly and in an ethical way. So sometimes as since we wanted to for some business owners who I guess who want to earn a lot in a quicker manner, they forget how to be ethical in a way. So I guess we have to put that on our back pocket always to have that ethical mindset, and as well as
boom.
it controls in our AI agents or robots as we call them.
Perfect. Right. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah, I think that's perfect, man. A lot of business owners forget that the AI that they have is only equal to their capacity. John Maxwell, how many of you know who John Maxwell is? Okay, type me in the chat box. So the dude basically taught us about leadership caps. Okay, a level 10 leader can lead another level 10, but a level 5 leader cannot lead a level 10 employee. Okay, so that's something that we need to remember. AI is only as good as we are. Okay, as the owner, as the orchestrator, as the founder and entrepreneur. Okay, so yun. Okay, so I want to hear a bit from the people who did not finish. Okay, what happened? Bakit hindi nyo natapos? And no judgment here, guys. Okay, this is just one afternoon. Some of you might even be doing this for the first time ever. So normal lang na hindi matapos. Okay, so no judgment from me, guys. All right, so who can share from the ones who did not finish? Ooh, that is That is nice, Sarah. Yeah. Okay. Going once. Come on, guys. Who can share? Come on. Don't let me experience awkward silence. Joke lang. All right, if there's no one who wants to share, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so ito lang, right? If you did not finish, you need to remember it is a-okay. Okay? Because this whole thing is it's not something that you should just keep or do in one day. Okay, there's a lot to learn for and there's a lot to document. Okay, so I'm gonna be sharing my screen again. Okay. So here's a couple of things too. Like one of the best ways to get clients and leads is actually with a quiz. Okay, so and before for me to actually program and this is actually what built um like millions of dollars of accounts that we used to handle in the US, right? Is it's literally just a quiz funnel. And before for us to do that, I would have to spend 2 hours just to program the quiz. And that's using apps like Typeform, Go High Level, and all that stuff. But now quiz, for example, this is a client of mine. And by the way, if you guys, this is a quiz that I built, but if you guys are feeling burnt out founders, you can actually sign up in here, okay, and actually take the quiz. Okay, it's backed by real data. It's Gentle Force. Okay, you guys can actually sign up here and see. Oh, sorry, this is also for burnt out female founders. Sorry, this is for the women in the room. Okay, so it will tell you what you are, and then you can download a free guide of what that is. Right, so it's very cool. Diba? You can create stuff like that with Claude. Okay. Here's another cool stuff. Like just by spending um $165, 184. Actually, this might even be too low, really. Too high, I mean. I have spent like for this webinar, I actually spent around um 20 $20 and it was already full in just 2 days. Okay, of course, since Libre siya, most people actually dropped off around the middle, but that's to be expected when you run programs like this. Okay, and not everyone is also going to be here with the same dedication as paid participants. But imagine that spending $20 on ads, and in 2 days you're fully booked for your event. Well, your online event. Okay, so and then the cost per lead, I actually got this to drop to like 12 cents per cost per lead with AI generated ads. Okay, ain't that crazy? Okay, so here's the practical advice before we close today. Okay, you don't need to know how to code. You only need to know what done looks like. This is the mantra that we have for today. Okay, and before you give Claude Code any task, remember, what does finish look like? What does finish feel like? What would I check to confirm if what you ask Claude to do actually worked? Okay, so answer all those 3 questions before you ask Claude to actually execute. Okay. So your first prompt, and this is as promised earlier, the Cloud Code for that quiz. No, you don't need Cloud Code for that quiz. You can actually this is one of the offers that I've had with my clients. I'll send it in the chat so that you guys can actually take the quiz. It's free. Okay. But it's also something that you can build with Cloud Code. Okay. Now, this is like my pro tip. If you don't have my prompt engineer, you can just use this for prompt engineering. Okay. Your first prompt, Describe the outcome. Start with the outcome, not the method. Okay? You need to ask it, you need to tell it what does the end goal look like. Because sometimes AI is actually going to be smarter than us anyway. Okay? So, and then go with plan mode. After you say the outcome, where is this, Claude? Okay. Use plan mode so that it will plan out things before it actually executes. Read the plan and then create one skill at a time. Okay, start with what you repeat the most. Okay, that's the first skill that you need to create. So to start, for example, I want Cloud Code to build me a so that a. Okay, that's an example. So, and again, the just to give you guys a parallel, what does a vague prompt look like? Make me a landing page. Actually, it's not vague if you have a skill. For example, for me, okay, make me a landing page for, let's see, hamster, hamster pets, hamster pet business. Okay, and then I'll just tell it, okay, I'll tell it what kind of funnel that I want. Okay, funnel select. Yeah, so now it's not as vague, even though it looks vague, but then it has so much. It has a decision skill tree that it can use to determine what kind of funnel it needs. Right. So that's an example of building with a skill. But you can also just say build a landing page for my coaching offer, headline, one benefit, 3 bullet points, and a button that goes to a Calendly link. Clean, white background, no images. Okay. Plan mode in practice. You can not right now. Okay. So, and let's do that. Let's do this in practice right now. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes to do this, just so that you guys can practice. I want you to go into Cloud Code and connect your, go into Cloud Code, go into settings, go into extensions. Sorry. Was it extensions? Settings, capabilities, connectors. Okay, go into Claude, go into settings, go into connectors, and then connect your email, whatever email that you use for Claude. Okay, if it's Gmail, connect your Gmail. Okay, if you're still using Yahoo, get out of Yahoo because it's really old. Okay, so I want you guys to do that right now. 3 minutes. Okay, okay, inside Zapier, then also test this with Zapier. Going to mcp.zapier.com, and I'm just going to use this as an example. This is my MCP with ChatGPT, and I connected it to multiple apps. For example, with ClickUp, with Kitchen, with Discord. Okay, that way ChatGPT can get what I need from all of these different apps. Okay, for example, I have a ClickUp. I have a task in ClickUp. I'll use the Zapier MCP to get that. Okay, but this is assuming that the ClickUp is not part of the connectors. I'm gonna bet ClickUp is here though. Yeah, so I don't need that server anymore, that MCP anymore, because it's right here. Nice, Albert. Congrats. Good job. See, now it's using Gmail to search for any emails related to the this AI hour event. Good, Manny. Thank you. Yep, 6 people replied. Okay. And they already got confirmation, sir. Okay. Okay, so if you guys don't want AI to do that, that's fine as well. Okay, but that is the demo. That's exactly it. If you guys are able to do that, then you have what's the word I'm looking for? Then you already have an AI assistant handling your emails. Okay, Claude will because of guardrails, Claude will refuse um to send a reply. It will create drafts, but it will not send the emails for you. Okay, all right. Congrats, Grace. Congrats, Adalbert. You're done. Okay, so that's an example. Okay, it's that fast. Look, by adding just one connector, by adding an email, you have already replaced an administrative role. How crazy is that? Now VAs who are managing emails literally do not even, they don't even need that job anymore, right? Or they can use this as a way to get more clients, then depending na sa kanila. Okay? So the cost is just $20 per month. Okay? So what is 1,000 pesos a month worth if it replaces 3 tools and 1 hire? Okay, so imagine that, right? Just by connecting Claude and having a $20 subscription. And by the way, again, if you're using a $20 subscription, Codex is actually a better option than Claude na Pro. Okay, Codex is a lot better. It's a lot more generous than that. All right. So, how many of you are getting value so far? Raise your hand. Sorry. Type me in the chat box if you're getting value. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Josie. Wow. How many of you are not getting value? More. Are you using Claude more over Codex, GPT? If yes, why? I am using Claude primarily for most of it. Okay. GPT and Codex I use as a backup when I run out of Claude credits. Okay, that's why I got them as a backup. Okay. And I use Hermes for things Claude will refuse to do. Okay, so yun lang. All right. Now, how many of you want more? Type more in the chat box if you guys want more. Okay. So I am and I'm gonna be sharing with you guys what I'm working on, like what is the overall end goal of the community that I'm building. Okay. So the community that I'm building is actually called uh the bootstrap entrepreneur. So it's actually inspired. Hey, can you get my book? Is it there? It's actually inspired by, it's okay. It's okay. What happened to me after my uh can you tell us the backstory when you started using Claude and prior to Claude, what are you actually using? I actually use ChatGPT. Anyways, that's exactly what I was gonna go, right? So before all of this, I was actually an agency owner, right? So a lot of my time, um, I spent a lot of my time managing people. I had 30 people, I had software engineers, I have HR, I had admin. I had clients that paid us $40,000 per month. How many of you would like that? One account for $40,000 a month. Type me in the chat box if you want that. Okay. Here's the thing. I would wish that you guys get that and more, but also have the freedom to actually, focus on the important things in your life. Okay. Before I was 30, I actually had a heart attack. Well, almost had a heart attack. In one of the most beautiful places in the Philippines. Have you guys heard of the island called Siargao? Okay. So I almost had it over there. And I was moved to like three different hospitals, um, because they didn't have the facilities to actually serve me there. And it made me really think, why the heck am I having this health scare in one of the most beautiful islands in the Philippines? Not just because of the lack of sleep, but because the whole business was stressful. Okay, dealing with too many people, dealing with clients, and just the brunt of it. Just having an agency is not for everybody. Just having a business is not for everybody. And if you were to ask me a year ago if you should start a business, I would actually say no. Okay, there are better ways to make money than to start a business. Okay. Unfortunately for me, unemployable na ako. So I have to stick to starting businesses. Diba? So I've tasted the good life and I can't just be I can't just be in one place anymore. Diba? I love to travel. I love going to places. Um, I love meeting people. So I can't just stay in a corporate environment anymore. Okay. So, yun. I had to really think deeply about what I wanted to do, and that's why I started, um, actually, in-endorse ko lahat ng team ko. All of the team members that were good, that the clients wanted to hire directly, I sent it to them directly na. So that like tripled, quadrupled some of their income. For those of them who did not reach that level, they were bad negotiators, right? But the clients, they would probably get rates like $30 an hour if they wanted to. Okay. But yeah, I endorsed them to the client and then decided na, you know what, if I'm gonna start another business, I am gonna just stick to uh ano tawag dito, I'm gonna stick to a company that's that's gonna be free, a free business. So dati, I would associate a business that I need to hustle, I need to burn the midnight oil, I need to do a lot of hard work. I need to sacrifice my relationships because I need to build now and then celebrate later. Okay? Turns out, hindi pala yun totoo. Right? So this whole movement is called the bootstrap entrepreneur. So if you guys, and I wrote all that experience, by the way, because of that book, right? Because I almost died. I was like, you know what? If I am gonna die, I don't have a legacy. So I wrote a book. It's called the Bootstrap Entrepreneur, and it's a summary basically of the 10 years that I've worked as an agency and what I wished I learned. And if you guys want a digital copy of my book, simple lang, okay? At the end of this program, I'm going to be sending you guys a review link, whether it's good or bad. If you give me a review, you will get the book um, at the end. The hard copy, I am still negotiating with the publisher. Um, but probably by the time that I go to Manila, my physical copy na ng libro. So you guys can actually order a physical copy of the book as well. Okay, so if you guys are gonna give me a review, you guys can get a digital copy of the book. Okay, so with that said, I want to talk about the Bootstrap MBA. So this is the big deal, right? This is one of the reasons why I started this community. And I'll be very honest with you guys, this is not for everybody because this is one of the more for Filipinos, this is a higher end program. Okay, it's not a 5K course. Okay, it's a lot more expensive than that. But it is something that I believe can help people a lot. Okay, so one of the things is that this is gonna talk about AI and human design. So if you guys actually can see my book here, it's actually a Venn diagram of spirit and tech, and and towards the middle, it's called alignment. So I wanna help you guys create a business that aligns with your higher self, that aligns with your source. Okay. So it's a human design and it's something that you guys can learn. So one pillar is AI fluency, teaching you guys all of the stuff. If you guys learned a lot now, how much more if you guys are part of the more premium programs? Okay. We have someone who after just 4 days of attending the course, sorry, the cohort, she was able to close 59,000 pesos in just 4 days. How many of you would like that? Okay. Now, pillar two is human design, your story, your judgment, your voice. Okay. So it's not just two ideas, we're merging that into one. Okay. So here are the curriculums in terms of arcs. So there's going to be around 10 arcs for that. So there's clarity, like knowing where you are, um, instead. Kasi, you know, one of the things that I really hate the most is sales. You know, I don't want to go okay. There's also the voice art, meaning we're losing. Mic test, mic test. As a signal. Am I back? Yeah. So anyways, the voice art is making AI sound like you. Mic test, mic test, mic test, mic test. Okay, I can hear myself. All right, we're all good. All of that stuff, AI that sounds like you. Okay? Oh my God. Ano ba ito? Yeah. And then there's the stage arcs. Like, how many of you would like to create events like this? Hello, hello. Mic test. Mic test. Can you guys hear me now? Parang ayaw niya yata magbenta ako, no? Mic test. Okay, I think it should be good. Yeah. So then there's a stage arc where I'm going to show you guys how to present, how to sell, how to become your own speakers and coaches. How many of you would like that? Type me in the chat box. Okay. And actually transform people's lives. Notice the people who have been sharing, okay, are people who are there because of impact. Hindi actually pera yung hanap nila. And money came after. Okay. And then the workforce arc, how to make AI agents. Thank you, John. Yeah, how to make AI agents, like real agents that work with you, you know, that create these amazing results for you. Okay? Yeah, exactly. You guys are more than capable of becoming coaches, for sure. Okay. And then there's a builder, how to use Cloud Code. And here's the thing: if you guys find any of the tools that I mentioned earlier expensive, okay, I can actually give you guys I'm gonna be teaching you guys some open source AI. Okay, how to build your own open source AI agents and all that stuff. Okay, how to become irreplaceable, how to be the one person in your niche that people will always go to. Okay, and legacy art, what keeps running even after launch. Okay, and may mga added bonus pa to. Okay, so all of the agents that I gave you, that I talked about earlier, the 119 agents. Oh, sorry, no, not 119, 80 agents. Kasi the HR agents, I can't publicly share it muna. Okay, so I unfortunately I can't publicly share the HR agents, so I have to remove them. So there's around 30, but a lot of them are already pre-built and ready for you to use in your business. Okay, so and then the strategy suite, all of this tools that I showed you guys. Okay, like for example, if you guys want to run campaigns, oops, why is it that I'm not a premium user? That's funny. Okay, but anyways, even the premium stuff like niche engine, PLF, like launching your own funnels. Okay, this is also something that you guys are gonna get in this program. Okay, we are also going to be creating a business plan for you. So this business plan, we actually charge clients $200 per hour to do. Okay, so you guys are actually gonna get that for free, and this is also one of the AIs responsible, by the way, in helping me get 120K last year, $120,000 last year. So and that's $120,000 of extra income. Okay. Bakit? How do I know that it's very specific? Because I was actually surprised. That 120K was not part of my main offers. Okay. That was not part of the agency offers that I was making. But it did help me land clients, and it did help me close more clients because of those AIs. Okay. And then how many of you would like to have your own Alice in your lives, right? Na may magfa-follow up para sa inyo and all of that stuff. You guys will actually have access to Alice as an accountability partner as well. Okay? So, and it's also part of my free community sa NAS. I don't know why there's a value here, but this is free, but you guys are actually going to be part of a VIP. So a lot of the things that are paid in my NAS community, you guys will get access for free. Okay? And my monthly live coaching din tayo. So this is what's the word I'm looking for? This is more intimate. So I meet with people all the time. I meet with the graduates all the time, and I do consulting calls for them. And of course, if you guys like the fact, for example, Royce, Jam, Freeman, we have a alumni for lack of better word, it's kind of like a marketplace, right? Sorry, an alumni directory where people can also, if you're a graduate there, we've vetted your business, you've done the work, you will also be promoted within the community. Okay, so in our events, imagine without marketing and just volunteering, they were able to get each 30 leads in one event. Okay, how many of you would like 30 leads? Type me in the chat box. Okay, if you guys would like 30 leads. Okay. And yeah. So, and basically the question is this, like if you guys can get all of this and you were to replace one employee, okay, it's just 25,000 peso higher, one salary you never pay again. Okay. Would that be worth it? Okay. Yes. Type yes in the chat box if that would be worth it. Okay. And if you can launch one event live, okay, or one business live, and you can actually close money from that. Okay, just like how someone from my community closed in just 4 days. Okay, 59,000 pesos in just 4 days. Would that be worth it? Type yes in the chat box. Okay, and if it will give you your nights back, for me, I'm very fun. Sorry, I'm very happy that I get to go to the gym. I'm very happy that I get to go out and decide when to stop working. Dati hindi ko yan magagawa eh. Even if I was the boss, I couldn't do that. Okay, because my anxiety would always be very high. Okay. One of the things that I'm very proud of is that every now and then while I'm working, I would just ask my partner, hey, do you want to go on a date? Out of the blue. Diba? Tapos magmatcha lang kami. So that's like one of my wins. That's like true freedom right there. You know? So, and for me, I had two choices. Okay, make it cheap, strip out the value, or give everything and ask a fair price. So I chose everything because I've tried doing this with the Philippines. Okay, one of my startups is called CV. We've taught 1,500 people how to become virtual assistants. We taught GHL, we taught Blender, we taught Canva, we taught VA trainings, we taught growing your team. Guess how many people actually had their lives transformed out of 1,500 people? Add in the numbers sa chat. Okay? Sa 1,500 na tao, no, less than 10 even, Philip. Okay? Oh, and by the way, what's even crazier, is that we even had coaches like go and help these guys. And that's when I found out, giving this away for free is not gonna help. So that's why I'm charging for my programs moving forward. Okay. So the price is actually on August 1, the price is actually gonna go up to 497. The founding price today is 297. If you guys actually attended some of my programs in the past, the price would actually be 197. So now the program is 497 until July 31. Okay? So to sign up, you guys just have to go through here, this link. But I have exclusive bonuses for people who decide today. Okay? So there are two bonuses for that, okay? So the bonus is this. If you guys buy this course today, in the next 2 days, I will build an agent for you. Okay, we will go through a consulting call because that's still one of the things that you're gonna do before the program. We're gonna do a consulting call, and I will build that agent for you after the consulting call. Okay, So this is something I charge $1,500 for a simple agent. Okay. So that's an added $1,500 in value. Okay. So I already gave you guys the whole thing for free. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for coming. You guys, we still have a bit more time. We actually have 30 minutes. So this is the end of the program, but I will stay on for 30 more minutes for Q&A. So if you guys have any questions you want to ask me, I will answer them gladly. Okay, so no, thank you.
Regarding with that quiz that you shared earlier,
Yes.
if ever I will build one like that, am I able to see responses or
Yes.
mhm.
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
So one of the
Mhm.
things that I do with my quiz funnels is I actually connect them to go high level.
Okay,
So
chill. Okay.
once people and I use what's the word I'm looking for? I use webhooks and init to do that. Okay. So when
Okay.
someone fills out the quiz, it sends it to JHL and I would see all of the results from there.
Got it, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So again, from Sherwin, sharing what I discovered created while learning agent MCPs. Oil monitor. Yeah, nice. It's a Vercel. That is cool, man. When did you make this? Did you make this earlier or did you make this just now?
Well, I was, I guess, trying to explore Claude Code more, and I saw some connectors. So I tried to connect the data from, I think, FMP connector,
Yeah.
the data in, and I just had Claude Code code the actual dashboard. And I didn't know that you could actually connect it to GitHub, then it would also do the Versal. You just have to, ask Claude Code to do that. I was just
Yeah.
exploring if it's possible.
Yeah. That's actually what I do with most clients now. I don't use Go High Level anymore or ClickFunnels. I just host everything in GitHub in Vercel. And then maybe the CRM, I would add it in, I would use Go High Level or Zoho, whatever they prefer. I think this is cool. So did you just make this today or
Uh,
was it
well,
before?
I already had an idea, but I just wanted to check in Claude Code how it
Yeah.
would do. So, while I was listening, I was actually doing it in the background.
Amazing. Yeah. This is really good. Can also do that on other vibe coding tools, but that's cool. Yes. Yeah. Having the same result in Power. All right. Any other questions, guys? Ed? Yep.
Yeah. With regards to, since well, many of us would likely be doing their own application or software.
Mm.
Is there like a guide or a framework or I'm not really sure if there's something with regards to data privacy, security that we need to bake in, like a standard. Because I think, most people would just go, head on with app development without, as long as it works. But, when you're already live, then you get problems with that, especially with regards to if you're going with payments, regulators, and so forth. So I'm not really sure if there's already some framework that is being followed with regards to data privacy and data security or so and something like that.
So with regards to security, um, the frameworks change depending on the location that you're planning to run. So for example, If you have clients in Europe, then you definitely need GDPR, di ba? If you have clients in the US, you need ano tawag dito? There are some Texas and California laws, CCPA, that you need to be mindful of. If you're doing some in the Philippines, kasi tinanong din sa akin to like, what about data privacy and all that stuff? Well, you just need to be very careful. Like, for example, there are a bunch of skills that I use personally to make sure na my my things are ship safe. Like my servers are shipped. For example, the API keys should not be exposed, diba? So that's something that we need to be mindful of. Fable 5, for example, is also a very good model to poke holes into your system. Assuming na Fable is gonna what's the word I'm looking for? Fable is gonna be okay with you using it for that. So there are a bunch of frameworks and skills that you can use to make sure that your software is compliant. And if you're already big on that and you already have the framework, let's say in your mind, right? Ano ba yung checklist mo? You can actually turn that into a skill yourself. Uh, Lovable or Netlify. So I actually came from Lovable because they had an offer where it was unlimited for a set number of time, and I just found out na Claude is better. I just found that Claude is better. If you're able to connect it to the right tools and backend, Claude is going to be a lot more sustainable and a lot less expensive than Lovable. As far as Netlify is concerned, parang ano lang naman siya, di ba? I think it's just a hosting thing. So I would actually prefer Vercel over Netlify, but Netlify is okay too. Oh yeah, it's also free. So yeah. Another option for Netlify is Cloudflare. So you can also just use Cloudflare. I actually started using Claude when it first came out, to be fair. I'm actually an official Claude partner, which I did not mention earlier. Right. So I started working with Claude when ChatGPT was still what everyone else was using. So from the beginning, probably. And I was able to also I was one of the more lucky ones because before AI was a thing, I I enrolled in digital business leadership sa Cornell University, and they were able to show me AI before it was even out. So my konting heads up lang ako with most people. But yeah, Claude was like just an alternative. The only reason why I shifted from Claude to ChatGPT is because ChatGPT was too pleasing. It would lie just to if it thinks you want to hear the answer. Okay, and I didn't want that. I wanted something more masculine. I wanted something more na if I work on it's able to tell me that I'm wrong or fight back. Okay, so Claude at the time was able to do that. So nag-ship ako from ChatGPT to Claude. And from there, I started using AI assistants. The projects that I showed you earlier. That was it. Ooh, is that your AI brain, Jocks? That's pretty cool. Just make sure they're all graph, but I think they're all graph naman. Seeing the lines. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have another question, actually, sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what's your take on, there are cheaper Chinese models. Are they safe to use?
Uh, Me personally, I don't think it's safe. And to be fair, for Filipinos, honestly, I don't think any AI is safe. Okay, so for example, the guardrails that Claude has is pro-human, but really it's more geared towards the US. Okay, so for example, in the Philippines, um, I'm kind of okay with having a data center in the Philippines for a number of reasons. One is we can't host our data in US servers. So bawal siya. Or foreign servers. Okay? And then I found out, anong event ngayon? And then I found out that some of our government servers are actually from Amazon. And I'm like, isn't that a breach of the law or whatever? That's anyways. So um what's the word I'm looking for? So I generally think any AI, so long as hindi siya local na model that we fine-tuned and developed ourselves, will always be a breach of our privacy and security. Okay? You just have to choose what kind of monster you want to get access sa data mo. Whether it's the Chinese one or the US one. Either way, what can they do to you? Yan lang naman.
Yeah, well, yeah, interesting. But is there something locally being, done or developed, like a local method?
My hope is yes, because I've heard some models are being fine-tuned for local. For example, dito here in Davao, the the LGU is actually investing in a local data center. Okay, so it's pretty interesting. But ultimately, I think it's all just gonna be a wrapper. It's still gonna use Chinese models, still gonna use Olama, it's still gonna use some other models, and then it's just gonna wrap. It's just gonna have local GPUs and servers running. Right? So private pa rin siya. So it's actually more secure than ChatGPT or Claude in some aspects, provided na fully local siya. Okay, so that so pwede siya. But based on history, like the flood control projects, I'm I'm gonna wait for the results to show to be fully convinced.
Okay, I understand. Thanks for that.
All right, so Obsidian. Yeah, so Obsidian, they call it a note-taking tool, but what makes it very powerful is that it actually works in folders. So it's like a repo. Okay. So just like and I'll show you guys this. And it's free, by the way, it's free. Okay. So guys, there's free without limits, but if you guys want some cloud functions, so that's also part of their thing. And what I like about it is that it looks like it's a note-taking app, but it's actually working in MD files and folders. And it can visualize code for you. And then, for example, like right here, for me, like if I were to work on a project, right, I would just give it access to that knowledge base folder. And I would see it inside Obsidian, like so. Yeah. And makikita ko na siya within Obsidian. And then one of the things that I like about it too is there are some visual tools that you can use. Oops. Well, this is one of my clients. Um, yeah, like for example, if I wanna, we're also making an open source payment gateway for the Philippines para sa mga vibe coders. Pero it should be hosted locally. So, yun. Just an example of that, you can just copy the path and then your Claude will know what to do with it. So, yeah. Yeah. AI tools are definitely leaking your info. All right. Any other questions? I hope that answers your question, Is.
I have another question, Chris, about Obsidian.
Sige, go.
Um, if I plan to connect it to my current project, like for example, it's an app currently in development. So what I understand from your discussion with Obsidian is it would like be create like a knowledge graph, right? Of connections with regards to the different parts of your application,
Mm.
the different functions. Is that correct?
Yes, you can go, Grace. Thank you. You guys can actually leave already. To be fair, this is actually done. The whole event is done. And you guys, I'm just staying for the Q&A. Okay. But to answer the question, it's not necessarily that as well. So uh you still need to graph your knowledge base in a way. Okay. But Obsidian allows you to easily do that. Okay. Because I had to manually, I still had to manually graph all of this. Like, hold on, I'll show my screen. Well, manual is maybe not the right word. I still had to use a skill to graph all of this together. Okay. So there's still a skill that was involved. And when I did this before, all of these lines did not exist. Okay, it was all just circles. So you still needed to um graph it yourself or ask AI to do it for you. And there's a skill to do that as well. All right. Sorry. One more question.
More question, Coach.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You have said a while ago that you can, so that the memory cannot retain. What would you do so that you cannot, the memory will not, uh, as it was said that AI, kasi maglilik yung mga information mo kung sakali. Paano mo i-turn off yung yung memory niya?
Okay. So to turn off memory, uh, again, you'd have to forgive me because I haven't done this in a while. So, and the app has changed. But you can actually just go into settings and then there are actually privacy options here too. Like you can turn this off. You can also turn this off. And your data, you can actually export your data as well. Okay. Where is that? Memory. Voice extension. Yeah, I can't find it. I'm sorry. But code permission. Yeah, I can't find it. Oops. Anyways, so I can't find the memory. But you can go into settings for that. Now, as far as transferring memory from an app, but you can also do the same thing, right? You can also let's say in uh, Codex, you can actually also transfer your memory from Claude to Codex and vice versa. So that's also possible. But I don't think I can show you that right now because otherwise, it would just be me clicking on the screen until I see it. But I've done it before. The only thing lang siguro na I will say is when it comes to just using AI, just make sure that you're doing it safely. It's not all this talk about security is just think of it like the internet, right? If you guys click on suspicious links, even without AI, you would be compromised. Like for example, sa mga phishing links sa email. Right? One of the best phishing campaigns that I've experienced before is yung kay Maya. Maya would from their official email account would send you a link saying, "Hey, you won a raffle of 2,000 pesos." They made it realistic even. And if you click on that, it would warn you na, "Oh, hey, nadali ka, this is a test. This is an example of a phishing link." What better way to teach people than to do that? Okay. So whether you're using the internet or your AI, your ano tawag dyan? You're always gonna have security issues. Okay. The only way for you to not have security issues if you're off grid, if you have your own server, if you're running locally. Okay, so yan lang yung that's the safest way. If you want to use AI, run it local. But you need to prepare to invest in a expensive machine. For example, sa akin, I'm looking into an AI computer ni AMD that's like $4,000. Okay, for me to set for me to buy it, and then if the Philippine taxes mag-tax pa yung government, baka umabot na ng 600,000 yung price niya dito sa Pinas. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay, Coach. Thank you.
Hi, Prince.
All right, go Jax.
I have a question. So, paano ba? So, Chris, when you say locally hosted, is the only the vault local or is it the model inference local too? Also, what do you know technically isolate client private data inside one connected vault so the wrong agent can retrieve it? Is it enforced by permission and filters or mainly by prompts?
So, okay, the way I would handle it with multiple clients is that I would just create a ano tawag dito? I would just create a control room. I don't know what it. Yes, no, thank you as well, Edelbert. I would just create a control room where it's just working on that client related stuff. So it that way it's not it's not working and checking on multiple things at the same time. As far as local is concerned, like I don't know the term that you used earlier, but it is running local models with local hardware, right? So that means you're not running it in the cloud. You're not paying Olama a subscription to run the LLM. Okay. So what else was I think there was a third question. What else was there?
Third question is it enforced by permission and filters or mainly by prompts?
You can enforce it with permissions. And because just prompting does not actually help. For example, I have a repo na I have one repo that's actually connected to one domain that's connected to two repos. And AI still gets confused sometimes. So when it edits one repo, it also edits the other. So just telling the AI, hey, don't do this, the AI would still do the other thing, right? So you still need to what was the term that you used earlier? Enforce with
Or by permission. Permissions filters.
Yeah, you still need to enforce that, and you also need to explicitly ano tawag dyan? Isolate projects when you're working on projects.
So what you're saying is technically parang hierarchy. Tama ba?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Mas clear lang kasi meron naman akong, may dine-develop ako ngayong model na parang ganun yung, yung pinaka-context niya yung concept. So, ayun lang, na-validate lang yung mga certain questions sa isip ko na at least hindi siya nagiging illusion or nagiging hallucination or just element of what I'm doing right now. Kasi ang hirap pinipaliwanag ng mga bagay kasi ang napansin ko sa'yo, ang galing mo nga eh. I will commend you with that. Kasi may mga sinasabi ka na meron akong terms in my mind na magkaiba lang yung wordings. Pero
Yes,
nagtuturo siya side by side. Kumbaga, hindi ko sinasabing kulang yung sa'yo or kulang yung sa akin. Meron mga bagay na mas nabibigyan ng bigat in terms of the meaning and the function of those agents and sub-agents. Kasi may mga terms nila. Kasi kaya nga dinedevelop na yung isang bagay lalo pag hearing. Kasi it keeps on learning every day.
yeah, I agree. That's actually why then a lot of people are confused with AI because people have been using different terms for the same thing, semantics.
Yung mga semantics. Kasi parang in my end, kasi ako analyst ako dati. IT analyst ako, senior IT analyst. Tapos, nagpa-certify ako ng ITIL, which is the most underrated na ano yun na certification throughout the IT world eh. Pero, strong siya in terms of AI. Yun lang, Chris. Thank you.
Amazing. That was a very good question, though. Thank you. All
Yeah.
right, we have time for one more question. 3 minutes left. Any takers? Going once. Going twice. All right, sold. All right, guys. I think everyone had Kusana umisa pa. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I mean, that's the part of that's yeah. Go ahead.
Inayos ko pa yung thought process ko about it. Kasi, overwhelming in a sense na nababalidate alam mo, siyempre, parang yung project mo, yung ginagawa mo ngayon, which is webinar, is nagkakaroon ng, alam mo yun, bigat talaga or validation sa mga ginagawa ko. Which is nakakatuwa, tuwang-tuwa na ako actually. Kaya nakikinig lang ako sa iyo.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, guys, don't worry. You can ask as many questions as you want in like 2 minutes. All right, let's call it a night, guys. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, yung audio mo medyo nawala.
Sorry, sabi ko is inayos ko lang yung thought process ko about this. Kasi medyo malalim yung sagot ko, which is nakakatuwa nga eh.
Okay. Sige, go ahead, Sarah.
Sir, sorry, na-disconnect kasi ako kanina. I didn't get your thought yung kanina. Yung tinatanong ko kasi is yung sa Netlify and sa Lovable. And yung sa Claude kasi actually kanina I created my panel dun sa Claude. Pero I go with yun sa Netlify. Parang hindi ko kasi alam kung paano yung sinasabi niyo na Claude din ba yung gagawa din ng panel na yun? Kasi nag-create ako ng HTML sa Claude, pero pinatch in ko siya dun kay Netlify. So, possible din ba yun sa Claude talaga, yung mag-create ng funnel ng nasa Claude lang siya? Thank you po.
Okay, so what you call those are artifacts. And there's a couple of nuances that you need to do. So if it's possible for a working landing page to be done inside Claude, yes, posible siya. But will people trust you because of that is a different story. So I would still recommend you use Netlify or Vercel or Cloudflare to use for that. Okay. And the reason why is that because you can connect your own domain and then host it, right? Gamitan mo lang ng backend that will connect with that. So my personal use is N8N, N8N and GHL. Okay, because I want my leads managed well. So kailangan CRM siya, hindi pwede server lang. Okay? So I would use N8N so that every transaction, every form that gets filled out will automatically send to JHL via N8N. Okay, so yan yung gamit ko. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, sir.
Jax, were you able to formulate your question na before we end the call?
So, paano ba? Ito about naman yung sa $4,000 AI computer. So, paano kung yung compute, processing is nasa cloud na?
Sorry, how do you compute the $4,000 na computer if it's in the cloud?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you saying that you're going to create a local model and then you're gonna charge people to use it in the cloud? Parang ganon. So you're gonna need
Parang ganun. So, di ba kasi, for example, if some people, di ba, naglalaro ko yan ng ML. So, sa phone, di ba yung RAM, kaya nga uminit yung phone kasi is talagang yung pinaka-maximum output ng buong processors and compute nandun sa RAM ng local phone. Tama, di ba? Kaya uminit siya. So, paano kung gagawin is yung compute na yun, yung processing is nasa cloud na lang. Na in a sense na kahit yung server itself na nag-handle ng compute and cloud, ng compute tsaka ng processes, is hindi nagsasuffer in a physical way. Kasi di ba yun yung problema ngayon sa Philippines kasi pumasok na yung Paxilica and so on and so forth, data ng data center, kumakain ng lupa, kukuha ng tubig, kulang na nga tayo sa tubig sa mga magsasaka natin, kukuha pa tayo ng So, hindi siya ideally sa Pilipinas na nagsasuffer na yung tao dito pag sasufferin mo palalo. Masyado lang ang sinasubside yung mga farmers which is sila yung mga cornerstone na kahit sa atin dito sa Pilipinas Kaya ang mahal ang bilihin natin kasi angkat pa tayo ng angkat.
I agree 100%. Pero okay, so medyo there's a couple of caveats there, right? I 100% agree. Actually, ako personally, I don't like that the data centers here in the Philippines.
Yeah, masyadong nakakainis. Insulto sa atin actually. Insulto sa Pilipinas yun. Pagtatayo yung data centers dito yung ibang bansa, ang lalabas dito, tapon na lang tayo ng basura nila.
Yep.
Wala nang iba, wala na ibang term. Huwag na natin pagandahin. Kala natin magkakaroon ng trabaho, hindi, magiging basurahan dito Pilipinas lalo. Kaya yung tanong mo may nagtanong kanina na about meron bang nagde-design ng models or ng AI na locally. Which is yun yung ginagawa ko ngayon na at least walang mag-suffer din sa atin kasi para at least yung kunyari, for example, OFW natin, kahit umuwi na din sa Pilipinas. Kasi dito
yeah, yung problema there is that we still need to create a data center pa rin. And to be fair, the data center needs to be owned by it's a rabbit hole. So the caveat is the caveat needs to be the data center is owned by the Philippines. It has to be environmentally efficient and it has to serve the Filipino. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Those are like the criteria na kailangan for a data center. Now, what you're trying to do for that is, and I've thought about this as well. Like it's a project that I really want to work on personally as well. That's why I've been trying to get investors to buy all of those chips so I can start making a local data center as well. The problem that I see there is that it will still eat up a lot of resources and it will still eat up a lot of ano tawag dyan? It will still eat up a lot of environmental assets that we have. Okay. Sorry, your audio is acting up.
Kasi di ba magkakaroon kasi ng mga data centers dito eh. So magkakaroon data centers dito, yung data from data centers dito papunta sa kanila, babalik pa sa atin. So nangyari, ginagawa sa atin ng mga tech companies ngayon is ginagawa tayong double fork.
Yep, double fork, yep.
Double fork ang ginagawa sa atin in a sense na tayo na nag-suffer, tayo pa rin magbe-benefit, na suffer pa rin lalo. Nagiging recursive software siya eh.
Pero yan, it's I agree with the, I agree with the goal. Yun lang. We need powers beyond just us to work on it.
Yeah, tama yun, tama yun. Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.